the 3 pipeline events this year that we have seen, right? We've only seen one day of this one, but we have the backdoor shootout and we have the pipe masters, right?
Correct.
By far and away, the best of them was the backdoor shootout because of the waves, of course. So now we have the pipe masters versus the Billabong Pro pipeline.
Correct.
And I'm waiting to see still. Day one was not good. Let's be honest, right?
Correct.
But I'm waiting to see, hopefully, and I know the forecast is bad, but they get a bit of a pulse because having the, I don't know, I want the pro pipeline to be better than the pipe masters this year.
Just because you were anti-pipe masters?
Well, just I was anti the format changes and all that. It felt like a real miss all over. And I was even more angry, to be honest. I got my hackles back up raised a couple days ago when I saw only on Stab the announcement of the Triple Crown winners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where they took a thing that used to be interesting and made it so pointless as to it only being on one, like only Stab wrote about it and nobody else in the entire world cared.
Yeah, it really does feel like they've botched that franchise.
Badly botched, both Pipeline and the Triple Crown franchise.
You're right, though. It is because Stab's partnership with Vans that they are now the only outlet discussing it.
Yeah.
And they're not, the problem is that it isn't a lead story for them. You know, it's like, even in the Vans sponsored pickup episode that they're doing weekly on the North Shore, which I think they just wrapped, it's not the lead story, really.
Yeah.
It's like 10 minutes into the video piece, then they start talking about it, because they were talking about the Eddie, by the way, which was deserved first billing.
Totally.
You know?
But yeah, but them taking something, Stab as, I guess, as agency for Vans really took a premier quality thing. And I mean, I think for all, again, intents and purposes, wrecked it.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's Stab's fault. And I don't think it's Vans' fault for partnering with Stab. It's Vans' fault for making it a digital version. Because let's be real, any of those waves surfed, we would have seen without them hosting it under a Triple Crown banner.
Yes.
Right. And in fact, we probably would have seen them more readily without having to go to the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing's website. So the fact that they just took what already was existing, which are free surf clips, hoarded them, and then created a fake kind of event around them. Yeah, competition around them, actually put limitations on the virality of the clip. Whereas in the past, we never would have seen the best surfers in the world battling out in an event format at Haleiwa unless Vans organized it into a contest.
Yeah.
So they were providing something for us that we never would have had access to before when it was an actual contest. Now it's just creating parameters around what we already had access to for free. And so it feels really forced.
Silly. But all to say, back to the Pro Pipeline, yesterday's Pro Pipeline. The good thing I'm going to say is the WSL has a great production team, right? Like the camera angles, all of these kinds of things. I think when the waves aren't good, it's easy just to throw all kinds of stuff at the WSL, and deservedly, I think. But the production team itself, the technical aspect of it is really, they put on a good show.
Well, except for their new technology wearable
Apple Watch. Well, now I can say a bad thing since I said a good thing. What an utter junk show. What a utter junk show. From every way that was rolled out. If I was any kind of brand, there's not one. Would you trust the World Surf League to spruik your goods?
Without doing my due diligence, I would, because they are the quote World Surf League.
From Jesse Miley Dyers, who's now chief of sport, which is ridiculous. I can't believe that. I mean, I said two bad things now.
Well, we'll get to that. Save that one.
Okay.
Maybe we could sprinkle in a positive thing in the middle.
Good. Okay.
But let's start with Leo. So obviously there was a news story. I don't think we even discussed it on air, but it was kind of on all the various websites that WSL had done a partnership with Apple. And presumably there is an exchange of money, but it's all under the guise of, we are going to implement a technology for all of our athletes to wear on their wrists so that they could have real-time heat updates. the timeline, how much time is left, the scores, the priority, all that sort of stuff. So this was the first event and the very first day, by the way, that they were implementing this new technology. Here's what one Leonardo Fioravanti had to say about the watch after his Heat win.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I mean, our freaking watches weren't working, and that's pretty heavy. Like, my watch wasn't working, and nothing to take away from Apple or WSL. I mean, what they're doing is great. They're trying to bring in some technology to our world. But if my watch doesn't work from start to finish, and I got to ask for time, like I've been used to, having the time on me at all times in heats, and we're fighting for our careers. So I hope they figure it out, because my watch didn't work from start to finish. So that's pretty good.
Man, this would be a good time for a Veyer watch ad right now.
I mean, it sure would. Come on, Veyer, come on back.
They are back.
Oh, sweet.
But not officially today, but yes, in general, they're back.
Great. Well, buy a Veyer, Leo, paddle out with a Veyer. It actually tells time. But what an absolute disaster, and then Abeli almost missing his heat because his watch didn't tell time.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't see that one too?
No.
Oh, Caio Abeli in his after heat presser also said he almost missed his heat because he thought his watch was going to tell time, and his watch only starts working when you're in the water, and also loses service when you're underwater. And so if you're duck diving, it'll cut out. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I don't think it could be put any other way. An abject disaster. The World Surf League looking as foolish. Like, I sometimes want to think we play too hard, right? We play too hard with the World Surf League. It is a clown show. It is an utter clown show. What they do, again, good broadcast, right? They figured out how to really put on a nice show, something nice again. But the clown show underneath from Eric Logan's, it's just, they're goofballs. They're straight goofballs.
So
Keystone Cops.
Remember, what I wonder though is, I feel like it's a money grab. Like, they are looking for money. They're looking for partnerships and sponsorships. And so they come up with concepts that they pitch to, whether it was Facebook 5 years ago, $30 million deal, that Facebook was going to be the streaming partner. The very first event failed. In the opening minutes of the very first stream, completely failed, broken technology, broken feed. We couldn't. And then we never hear anything about it again. It's like,
it didn't exist.
Yeah. Did Facebook make good and still pay you the 30 mil for the streaming rights, or what happened with that money? Presumably they didn't, but they never even attempted to run another event.
Oh, no.
It was just, we're doing this for 3 years, tons of news, tons of press, and then one event crashes, nothing works. And I have a feeling this might be the same thing, where it's, if you can't, the technological integration, which, by the way, Facebook has no problem integrating technology into new platforms. Apple, zero problem integrating technology into new platforms all the time.
And it's not even a new product, right? It's not like Apple was unveiling a brand new thing. I'm sure the watch works fine, right? I'm sure in the WSL, World Surf League's hand, it turns to, junk.
Well, that's where I'm identifying is, wherever the handoff of the baton is into the WSL platform is clearly where the breakdown is, because Apple doesn't have that same breakdown with any other partnership that I ever have seen, nor does Facebook. You know what I mean?
No.
The technology exists. It's just putting the technology integrated with this event that they're doing. The event is what's failing it. And by the way, I agree with what you're saying about the broadcast in general, but there is still tech failures. Like, the sound was not working for me throughout the afternoon. I had to kind of log on and try multiple times, and I thought it was my device. But then when they came back on, Joe Turpel apologized for them having technical difficulties. And this isn't in the middle of the ocean, by the way. This isn't G-land.
No.
This is Hawaii.
The thing that, again, continues to, I'm going to run out of good things to say. What can I say good?
AJ McCord. Is that her name?
Oh yeah, she was great.
The new broadcaster, fantastic,
great, and
not brand new. She was in one event last year, or maybe a CS event or something. But she's fantastic.
And Laura Enovar continues to become the best they have.
She's amazing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, okay, so there's two good things now. I don't understand, and we say this every time, I suppose. It baffles me. It confounds me. Surfing is a sport with natural pauses in the game where there is plenty of time to go broadcast advertisements without missing one thing.
Right.
It's like they purposefully, like there was one I was watching and somebody was just started to paddle for a wave and let's cut to commercial, right? And it's pointless commercials too. It's
and
like
it's redundant.
Yeah, redundant, same commercials you've seen. So that you're telling me there's no director in the booth who can say, pause, he's going to catch a wave. We see, out the back, there's going to be a little flurry here. And then we're going to have, 3 minutes where we'll be able to do whatever we want. I mean,
yeah.
Are you kidding me that there's no director who can watch in real time and say, keep airing. Now let's go to commercial.
Well, and the ads aren't effective, by the way. So by virtue of making them super redundant, by the end of the season, we are never going to buy a BF Goodrich tire or a Jeep or whatever it is, because we have had the same exact commercial, not a different version of the same kind of campaign, just the same exact commercial bombarded over and over and over. So if they integrated, they could be just slightly creative and integrate the ads a little bit more organically, and have an inset. Why not have the live stream inset on screen during the redundant ad? That would be an easy fix.
I mean, it's just, yeah, like the fact that they can't have sorry.
No, it's okay. If you gotta go.
No. The fact that they can't have that they clearly don't have a director, but they have to. They have to be throwing to the guys in the booth and throwing here and throwing here. But the fact that they just can't, that seems like the tertiary goal is to actually broadcast surfing.
I think
like primary is to have the ads run. Secondary is to have some kind of commentary where we have to see the commentator's face, or down to the beach interview, or it's like on their chart, on their whiteboard, it's broadcasting live surfing is honestly like 5th or 6th. It comes way after the post-heat interview with the surfer.
You're absolutely right. And even lower than that is running the best surfers and the best waves in the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even on the whiteboard at all.